John Felt here. This is a Blue Water Outlook weekly weather briefing for the 28th of June, 4th of July week. And it is summertime, and I'm going to be describing how we have shifted into a summertime pattern that's going to continue for quite some time. Let's get started. Now, last week we had a scattering of severe weather reports. We had, like we saw the week before, hail over the central U.S. Those are the squares and triangles, the oranges and pinks, and then yellow is high wind over the eastern U.S. The eastern U.S. has really been hit by some very high winds, derechos, windstorms, damage over the last week or two. Now we take a look at precipitation here, rain, and it's shifted up into the upper Midwest, into the Great Lakes region last week, and that's where our atmospheric energy is the most significant in summer. It's become typically pretty weak now over the Midwest, central Midwest, and south. And you can see that because the precipitation that forms, see all these little pot marks here, popcorn? That is saying that the heat of the day is firing the upward motion and forming those thunderstorms. So this is atmospheric energy or a focus. This is more daytime hit and miss thunderstorms. But we did get some heavy rain here, red being a couple inches of rain. Now temperatures, the big story last week was how hot it was. This area in darker red is 8 to over 10 degrees above normal for the week, centered over the Midwest and Great Lakes into the Northeast U.S., the greatest departures. Meanwhile, the western U.S. was quite cool with temperatures 5 to 15 degrees below normal. Now, the hottest weather last week, anything in yellow, 90 to 95. This brown here, 95 to 100. And any little red dots there made it up to the 100-degree mark. So many areas do have quite a bit of humidity. We had some wet weather earlier in the spring into early summer, and that's contributing towards some low-level humidity. Generally 70 to 75. I think considering now in summer that's not excessive, but it's certainly not really comfortable when combined with that high heat. We take a look at rivers. That rain last week produced some rises in rivers in the Midwest, and that is attenuating as it comes down the Mississippi River system. We also have a couple spots on the East Coast in the lower Mississippi and parts of eastern Texas also responding to some heavier rain. Now we take a look at the forecast here, and where this ridge of high pressure intensifies is where the hottest weather will be. So as we go through the week, you can see it intensifies over the northern Rockies, and that's where we're going to get the heat. Over the northeast U.S., a bit of a reprieve perhaps for a few days with this low. And then by Saturday, it switches right back in the northeast with an intensifying high. So we have several areas of unusually hot weather in the east and in the northern Rockies. And matter of fact, the rest of the nation, summertime heat as well. So we take a look at temperatures here. You can see we do have this hot weather in the eastern U.S. Matter of fact, very hot and humid. And then with time, as we get into mid-July, it looks like the western U.S. is going to be the area with the greatest warm temperature departures as we get towards the middle of the month. Now, one of the things I noticed, this is a plot or a graph showing all the, a table showing all the records this week. And compared to last week, there aren't many records with the exception, look at this, Monday and Tuesday, 19 low temperature records, high low temperatures, and all these. It's unfortunate the coloring doesn't show up real well, but look at this here, mid 70s for low temperatures. It's saying that there's going to be a lot of very muggy air on the East Coast, so it's going to be some dangerous heat and humidity again this week. Now, as far as rainfall goes, nothing all that organized. The Florida Panhandle is going to get quite a bit of rain. Everywhere else, it looks like not all that organized. The western U.S. looks very dry as well. Now, I'm going to be watching an area in the southwest Gulf of Mexico, and it shows some unorganized convection. It doesn't look all that organized right now, but that could develop. If it does, it's going to be drifting into Mexico here, but I will be keeping an eye on that. Right now, it does not look all that impressive. Okay, so let's look a little bit further ahead as we go through July. Look at this here, week 2. Just overall, the entire nation, above normal temperatures to some degree. The real hot spots are going to be the northwest U.S., Montana, and then the southeast U.S., mid-Atlantic, and southeast. I don't see anything all that organized as far as rainfall. And then as we get weeks 3 and 4, that northwest. So keep in mind, this area here is going to be getting into a pretty prolonged heat wave. And then the northeast U.S. and parts of the eastern U.S., it looks really hot as well. So that's your outlook. I hope you have a great 4th of July, and I will be talking with you again next weekend. Take care.